Hey guys, this is Jimmy from Primer's Best, and I'm in our 2008 Lincoln MKZ. I haven't started it in I don't know, probably 2 months, I guess. Close to it. Just haven't had time or the weather's bad, or I gotta tell you, sometimes I just don't feel like doing it. So, before I started the video, I checked all the fluids. This is a great car, and going to give it a start. Starts right up. Make sure the radio's turned down. It's got, in case you can't read it, it's 80,662.8 miles on it. And it got 21.4 miles per gallon the last time we drove it. It has gotten better. I'm going to turn this fan off here. Oh, had the AC on. I don't need AC. So, going to let it warm up here for just a minute in the garage. The last time we drove this car, we were going back and forth to probably a 60-mile round trip. When my mother-in-law was alive, to visit with her, we were driving this car, and sometimes the truck just, to get it on the road and drive it back and forth, get on the interstate. If my wife's got one of those things on the phone that tells if the interstate, been any accidents. I hate to get on the interstate, because when there is an accident, you're stuck. And so I hate to even get on the interstate. I'd rather go 2-lane, but 2-lane, when we went to 2-lane road to visit her mother when she was alive, it took a long time to get there, just because you go through a bunch of small towns with a bunch of small town police force, and they're always looking to give someone a ticket. So, not that I drive fast, but they are there. Let this warm up for just a minute, guys. It's been a long time. Like I said, probably close to 2 months. Probably asking yourself, well, Jimmy, what are you doing with a Lincoln MKZ? Well, guys, it's kind of a long story, and anyway, we have it. Just to refresh your memory, or if you're new to the channel, we had a 2001 Mustang GT, and that was a good little car. We bought it at the Rod Run in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, one spring, and drove it home as a good car. The only thing I had against the car, it's a sharp car. It really was. 2000 GT Mustang, and it run really good, but it's a 5-speed. Well, after a while of driving it, you realize you might get tired of shifting. So we decided to trade it in. My wife enjoyed driving it. My wife, Mrs. PIB, she's more of a hot rodder than I am. And I'm going to try to ease out of here, guys. I'll let it warm up out here, instead of setting the carbon monoxide detectors off. And this car is dusty. I keep a car cover on it, and it sits in the garage, but it still gets dusty. And I don't think I've cleaned it since we was going to visit my mother-in-law's. So you're probably going to see some dead bugs and stuff, and I got to vacuum it out. Today's a good day to do it. I'll get rid of these things too. Anyway, it's a 2008 Lincoln MKZ. It's dusty. I got to clean this thing up. This is pitiful, isn't it? This is all from that car cover. I guess I need to wash my car cover. But pretty nice car. It runs and drives good and gets decent gas mileage. It's got like 24 before. Miles per gallon, right in that range. If you're in town, of course, it doesn't do as good, but I thought I'd give it a quick swap, and we're going to plan on driving it next week. My wife and I are. So It's pretty interesting. The car's got all this stuff on the steering wheel, you know, the cruise and the volume for the radio and such as that. It's still cold. Of course, I just started it, but anyway, I'll show you the car. It's low miles for a 2008, 80,000 miles. And part of the reason was, I know I've told you all this before, but if you're new to the channel, Primer is best. If you'd subscribe to the channel, I sure would appreciate it. I'm also on Facebook, Primer is Best, and Instagram, Primer is Best. But my wife and I got the car. We put new Michelin tires on it, and had plans of driving it and maybe going on little excursions, I'll say. Just putting around, I guess, just doing whatever you want to do. And I called the guy that used to own this car. He was, I believe at the time, we've had this car for years. And I don't know if the gentleman's still alive. He's a real nice guy, but before I bought the car, I asked to speak to him, whoever owned the car beforehand, why did he get rid of it? And he told me, he said, Jimmy, he said, this is a real good car. He said, the only reason I got rid of it, like I said, he's 78, and I hope he's still alive. He's a real nice guy. We've probably had this car, I don't know, 5, 6 years, give or take. He said, he said, the only problem I have with this car is, he said, I have a hard time getting in and out of it, you know, because of the roof line. And to be honest with you, I noticed I'm having that problem. Maybe it's my turn to get old, right? Forget all this dust. This car is beautiful when it's clean, and I plan on cleaning it up. I'll show you the engine. Pretty nice little car. I mean, it's like brand new, really. Had the oil changed in it a few months ago, and just been driving it, but man, this thing's dusty, even with the car cover. And there's little bugs. I got a lot of cleaning to do on this thing. I don't like for stuff to look dirty, you know. I don't mind a nice used car or truck if it looks clean, but the problem I had with this car, as I was saying, I know y'all have probably heard this before, but those Takata airbags. We got a notice from Lincoln. Don't drive this car. Don't drive the car. They didn't have the airbags to fix it, but you're not supposed to drive the car. So the car just sat in the garage, you know, we weren't supposed to drive it. And this rocked on for, oh my goodness, maybe a year and a half. Couldn't drive the car. I mean, I'd do what I'm doing now and put it back up in the garage. Man, this car is so dirty. I'm even ashamed to show you. It's not dirty, guys. It's just from that silly car cover. Anyway, I'll fix all that. Anyway, I finally told, I called Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, Lincoln, whatever, and told them, I said, you know, I said, I've had this car all these years. My wife and I were going to do some traveling in the car, but, you know, I said, here we are stuck. You know, I said, we can't drive the car. I said, how much longer to the airbag? Well, I don't know, you know, sorry for your inconvenience, you know, and all this stuff. Well, it rocked on and rocked on, and they said they finally called, I don't know, a pretty good while after that. I'd see it sitting in the garage, and I thought, I can't, you know, we paid a bunch of money to get this because it was a good, you know, driving car, and, you know, it had the new tires put on it, you know, Michelin's and all that, and oh my goodness, I kept calling Lincoln, asking them how much longer. So they said, just bring it down here to your local Ford, Lincoln, Mercury dealer, and just leave it down here, and when we get it, the airbag, we'll put it in. And I said, when will that be? Well, I don't know. They said, "But just bring it down here." And I told them, I said, "I'm not bringing this car." I said, "Can you keep it inside?" I said, "If you keep it inside, I'll bring it down there." And they said, "No, we can't keep it inside." And I told the lady, I said, "Ma'am," I said, "this is the newest car we have." I said, "To us, I've never had a new car or truck." I said, "This is like a brand new car to us." And I said, "I'm not going to leave it set outside for hail and wind and limbs and leaves and every dog coming by doing its thing and cat and whatever walks around in the parking lot of a car dealership." I said, "I'm not going to do it." I said, they said, "I'll tell you what," said, "if you'll," she finally relented and said, "Tell you what, if you'll bring it down here, let us verify the miles on it, and you sign a piece of paper saying you won't drive it." And I told her where I lived. I said, "No, I don't live in the town where you want me to take this." I said, "I'll have to drive it back home. But," I said, "I promise I won't drive it." So that's why they want me to take it to them and let them write the mileage down. Which I did, and I signed a piece of paper saying I wasn't going to drive it. I was going to drive it back home, put it back in the garage where it had been sitting. So I did, and in the meantime, they let my wife and I have a Lincoln MKZ. Is a black, all-wheel drive Lincoln MKZ SUV, all-wheel drive. And my wife and I drove it. It's a brand new vehicle, but boy, somebody treated it so badly. The paint was all scratched, and I guess they had an animal or something in the back seat, tore up the leather seats and all that. And I told them, I said, "No, all this stuff was done on this SUV before I got it." I said, "I just want y'all to be aware of it." I said, "I'm not responsible for damages or anything." And so they said, okay. So we got to drive it for several months. I don't know, maybe 6 months or so. And they finally called and said, "Jimmy, bring your car down here with your airbags here." And I said, "Well, how long am I going to leave it?" And they said, "Oh, no, you won't have to leave it." Said, "If you can wait about, I don't know, it's like 20 or 30 minutes or so." Said, we'll pop the old one out and put the new one in." I said, okay. So we drove down there. Of course, I had to take the SUV and give it back to the rental place. I don't know how you can get a vehicle that doesn't belong to you. I always treat stuff better if it belongs to someone else, than my own car, But that SUV was brand new. It wasn't but just a few months old, and it already looked like it was, 6 years old. Especially, the leather seats. They had claw marks all in them and stuff, and it was just horrible. Horrible. You're probably saying to yourself, "Well, why don't you clean your own?" Well, I'm fixing to. It's just that car cover, guys. I guess I need to wash it. Anyway, so we got the airbag fixed, and we've been driving it, for a while. It's a good car, gets good gas mileage, it's got plenty of get up and go. The one thing I do have against this car, and I hope I never have no problems out of it, is the water pump. The water pump is sitting right in the middle of the engine. Oh my goodness, I hope that never goes out. If it does, it's going to be quite expensive. And I've talked to my wife before, Mrs. PIB. I said, maybe we ought to get rid of this thing before the water pump or something goes out. Because eventually, it will. One of these days. I don't know. But she really likes this car. So I don't know. And this car is probably not worth nothing now anyway. It was at the time, but I don't think it's worth very much now. But I mean, what do you think it's worth? 80,000 miles on an MKZ Lincoln 2008. What would you say, like 3,500, 4,500? I'd be losing my shirt really, and I hadn't even drove it. But then you got to weigh in again. Well, do you want to replace that water pump? I don't know. But my wife is kind of into just keeping the car, because that's a good car. We had the windows tinted too, by the way. Let's check the vitals on it, and I'm going to get rid of these things, and I got me some black. We're kind of nuts about. Yeah, temperature's good. We're kind of nuts about. I know it don't look like it. Please forgive me. We're kind of nuts about cleanliness. You know, keeping things clean. You can have an old car or an old truck, and still, you know, if you keep it clean, you know, to me it looks good. Hang on a minute, guys. I gotta put my seatbelt on. We'll go for a little cruise, okay? Okay, we'll go for a little cruise. Radio's turned down. I'm good. Just checking everything. Everything appears to be good. It's a good car. Let's drive it around neighborhood for just a moment. That's the doors locking, if you're wondering. I didn't hit nothing, or not yet anyway. I forgot how dirty this was, but when we were going back and forth to visit my mother-in-law in an assisted living facility, I think I hit every bug in 4 counties trying to get there, you know, and sometimes I had a moment to clean it up, sometimes I didn't. We were always ready at any time, day or night, to have to go down there to the nursing home. Assisted living, you know, she'd had a massive heart attack, and she wasn't in her right mind. So I always had my shirt, you know, all my clothing laid out, you know, in case we had to go in the middle of the night for some reason to go do anything, which we had to a few times, you know, calm her down or whatever. And you know, it was quite an experience. I will say that. But you know, we always had everything ready to go. So there's some days, you know, by the time we got back home with her, visiting with her, I just never had time to clean up the car or do too much nothing. Really, all this past summer, 2023, she had the massive heart attack. She had a massive heart attack, but it affected her brain and stuff. Unfortunately, she's a real sweet person, but and she liked me. But she passed away, and around this past fall. But we always had everything ready to go. Always kept the car full of gas, because you never did know where you was going to be going. We had to leave one time and go all the way to Knoxville, Tennessee, to the hospital there because of her condition. And I mean, you just never did know. When sometimes, you know, in the middle of the night, we'd have to go 2 or 3 times to go help the nurses, you know, whether sometimes she'd just kind of, you know, not be in her right state of mind. And it was I don't know, my wife and I just, they'd give out. And I'm sorry I got off on that. Please forgive me. I just act like y'all sitting in here with me. But anyway, everything seems to be good on the car. I told my wife next week, after all this rain goes through, we're supposed to have a couple days, unless the weather person has changed their mind again and decided to give a different forecast. It's supposed to have a few good days, a few nice days. And I told my wife, I said, I'd like to take you somewhere, you know, do something, but what's to do? I mean, in the wintertime, I mean, only thing you can do, really, in my opinion, I try to stay away from folks. I mean, I'm just telling you, I'm going to have to turn in the driveway and see how I get started talking. I try to stay away from folks. I don't want to be in big crowds. You know, there's all kinds of sickness and COVID and all this other stuff going around, and you know, I just don't enjoy getting out in rainy, cold weather or whatever, getting around a bunch of folks. sick or their children sick or whatever. I guess, I don't know. When I was younger, it didn't bother me a bit. But that was many, many years ago. And I don't know if I've got more sense or if I've got more paranoid. I don't know. So probably both. I'll say both. Got a little bit more sense maybe. But there wasn't COVID and stuff when I was growing up. Everybody, you either had the flu or cold or something, you know, and in a few days you was over it. Nowadays, all this stuff on TV commercials, you know, you look at anything or touch anything, you're liable to come down to some kind of terrible disease. You know, that's all you see is drug commercials on TV. I can't hardly stand to watch regular TV. Unless it's Andy Griffith. Hard to beat Andy. Oh my goodness. This time I'll try to remember to turn in the driveway, guys. I'm sorry I'm talking so much. That's just how I am. I'm going to pull in here and get this thing cleaned up and see what we can do to make it look like it's supposed to look, in my opinion. You know, a nice old clean car. And I keep the battery tender on it all the time, so it's not like I need to drive it more. I need to drive all of them more. Just seems like you don't have time to do nothing. I don't know what it is. Let it run here for just a few more minutes. And okay. I'm gonna make sure I don't lock myself out. Wouldn't that be funny? Oh no, it wouldn't. I gotta clean all this mess up. Anyway, I was trying to blow off some of that stuff off the car cover there. Got some of it, not all of it. Anyway, appreciate you watching. You're watching Primer at its best, and let me know what you think about this 2008 Lincoln MKZ with 80,000 miles on it. You're probably asking yourself, Jimmy, why do you have a Lincoln? Well, I looked at other vehicles when we were looking to trade in the Mustang. My wife seen that Mustang at the Rod Run, and it's a beautiful shade of blue. Oh, my wife, that's her favorite color. She wanted that Mustang GT. And so we got it, drove it home. You know, most every vehicle at the Rod Run in Pigeon Forge, most of the vehicles up there are for sale. You know, old ones and some new ones. And she seen that Mustang and wanted it. And so we got it. And it's a good car, like I said. But after a while, 5-speed gets old. Or it does for me with bad knees. I guess I was trying to relive some of my past. And like I said, my wife, she's more of a hot rod, and I was afraid she's going to race somebody, which she's been known to do, and then have a wreck or an accident or insurance go sky high. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I have a second YouTube channel called Man on a Budget, and I'm on Instagram, Man on a Budget 1. I thank you for watching. I'm sorry I talk so much. Some people say I'm boring, and they're probably right. Probably right. But, you know, I'm just doing what I can, you know. This is my life. Either you want to share it, you know, be part of it. You know, we can look at some of the dumb things I do or whatever with C10 trucks or like with this one today, or, I don't know. I can't help it if you're, you know, anyway, let's just drop it. Some people get bored. I'm sorry if you're bored. Didn't mean to make boring videos, but, you know, you can always X out. That's all I can say. But thanks for watching, guys. You're watching Primer at its best. And I sure would appreciate if you give me a big old thumbs up. And let me know what you think about this here Lincoln. If you've ever had one before, let me know. Because I'd like to know how many miles is on yours. Or when you, maybe say like before you traded or something, how many miles did you have on it? And did you have problems with the water pump? I have not yet, but I mean, who knows how long a water pump's going to last. So Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a blessed day today. The Lord is good. The Lord is great. Look at that beautiful blue sky. Oh, my goodness. I'm just in awe of the Lord. Be sure to pray for others and help all those in need that you can. Hold the door for somebody. Get somebody's grocery cart and go put it up for them. You know, just, you don't have to do all kinds of stuff. You know, stop and, I'm not going to say everything, but if you would be willing to help somebody, the Lord knows that you did. And that's all I got to say about that. Y'all have a great day. God bless you. I'll catch y'all in the next one, guys. I'll see y'all later. Guys, I'm kind of sorry to add on to the video, but as I was cleaning the car, I got to thinking about what I said in the video. What's it worth? $3,500, $4,500? No, I would not take $3,500 or $4,500 for this car. As of now, it's really not for sale. I really like this car. It's paid for. That's the main thing. It's paid for. I don't want to go in debt for nothing. I don't want to be beholden to anybody anymore as far as having to pay for something. But I got it kind of cleaned up. I just thought I'd answer that real quick, and because I'll probably get somebody I have in the past, you know, hey, would you take $3,500? Would you take $3,200 for it? No, it's not for sale. I was just talking about, what do you think it's worth? I don't know what it's worth. Haven't looked it up. I don't have no clue at all what it's worth. I just kind of done a real quickie job. I just kind of vacuumed it out, and you know, I threw away those papers that said, I never have had a new car or truck in my life, and I had those papers there where it looked like like I'd bought it new, but you know, that you put your feet on, that the car dealers put in for you when you first, I reckon, when you first buy a vehicle. Well, I just kind of went over the insides a little bit, got some of the dust off, and you know, wiped off the car a little bit with some of that quick detailing stuff. And it's not a bad looking old car, you know, but as I was cleaning, like I said, I just thought I better answer that. Would you take $3,500 or $4,500 for it? No, and it's full of gas. I couldn't take that for it, but no. But thanks for watching the videos, guys, and hope maybe you found this maybe entertaining. I don't know. Hopefully, I bet some of y'all that's been subscribing to my channel, Primer is Best, where you think that's all I have is Chevys and you know, square bodies, and that 66, it's that GM 1038s. I actually have a Ford Lincoln Mercury product. I think my wife and I went over there to the car lot at this place where we wound up buying this one, and there was I think we were looking at a Chevy Impala if I remember right, but this one had all the bells and whistles, and you know, is low miles, and is a lot cheaper. And the car lot guy that I bought this from, he was letting his own son drive this car because he was a young driver, and you know, they just drove it for a little while. But this car is loaded up with airbags in the seats. I mean, it's loaded up with, he said it's got more airbags, or at that time, you know, airbags, you know, the side, everything. And he thought, well, if my son's going to drive one, he needs to drive one of these because it's full of airbags, and chances are, if he has an accident, he won't get hurt. I love this black color. I've had several black vehicles, but my goodness, they are hard to keep clean. My goodness, they'll work you to death. A light colored vehicle, not so much. I mean, you don't have to work as hard, they still look decent, but if I drove this around the block again, I'd get dust all over it just because it's a dark color, you know, black vehicle. But boy, when they're clean, they sure do look good. Thanks for watching, guys. I just thought I'd add this onto the video just to show you what it kind of looks like cleaned up. Clouds are rolling in, and we're supposed to get a lot of rain showers this evening, so I'm going to put this thing up and clean up outside a little bit, call it a day, and get me a shower. Y'all have a blessed day today, and Thanks again. Please give me the thumbs up, same as I asked you before, and please subscribe to Prime It Is Best, and we'll get back on those Chevy C10s and all the other stuff that we have. So I just want to let me know if you're surprised if we have a Ford product. I like anything, guys, anything, Dodge, Plymouth, whatever. If it's paid for, like I said before, I'm all in. I just don't want a car payment, and this one suited our budget. So, and it's a good car. God bless y'all. Catch you in the next one. See y'all later.